CMX Connect is a local program by CMX powered by Bevy to bring together community professionals all around the world.
CMX Connect is for professional community builders and also the community curious, those people interested in building communities, online and offline.
In Madrid, we offer lots of different events, from speakers to panel discussions and workshops. You even get the chance to network with community professionals in the city.
Tonight's event was great. I'm friends with a couple of the panelists. It was very chill, it was very relaxed. I thought it was the perfect event for me.
I learned about CMX Connect Madrid through various Facebook groups. I'm part of She Here Refresh, as well as Eat Out Madrid, as well as some of the other ones that are Madrid specific. And CMX Connect Madrid is spoken about quite a bit in those spaces, about this really great space to connect with other community builders.
What I really like about it is that you guys are like a real international community. So like I've been here twice, as I said, and what I like about being in CMX is that people are from all over the place.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next CMX Connect event here in Madrid. Hello.
Hello, everybody. How are you? So great to see so many people joining us here.
Yes, we've got people joining us from all over the world. So please let us know in the chat who you are and where you're joining us from. That's the beauty of virtual events, is that anybody can join us from the comfort of your home. So we are here in Madrid. I am currently in my living room on my sofa. Seppi, where are you?
As am I. I'm in Madrid and in my living room as well. We still got some sunlight here. So yeah, here I am.
Yeah, and we're excited to bring you this event this month. Every month we have our Connects, and this is the second one we're doing online. Obviously, as a result of the coronavirus, we're currently, I think, on day 25 inside. I've lost count now. But we've got high spirits still, and yeah, we're so glad that we're able to still bring these events to you and to have as many people from around the world join us. So thank you so much. Now, we're going to get started. For those of you that I saw in the poll, this is your first CMX Connect event you're joining us. So I want to tell you a little bit about CMX Connect. So CMX Connect is a program by CMX, powered by Bevy, to bring together community professionals and community curious people at in-person events. And obviously for now, that means virtual events. As I said, it is partnered with Bevy, and this is the platform that a lot of you use to register for this event today. And they've done wonders over the last few weeks, putting together new virtual elements so that we can have these events online and get as many people to join us. Now, our goals for CMX Connect, there's 3 simple goals. The first one is to connect with another person, meet another person, whether it be another community professional or somebody who is curious just like yourself in learning more about community or building a community. The next thing is to learn. We want you to get one actionable strategy from our event so that you can go forward and continue your journey building or maybe this is the springing board for you to start your communities, or maybe you're having a bit of a challenge right now and you need something, and you go away with that key piece to help figure things out. The next part is the advocacy. We want to grow the community industry. We still realize that there's a lot of people out there that don't realize themselves the benefit, the value of community. So we are trying to grow that network of people and basically convince people why community is the best thing for everybody. So those are the 3 goals. We hope that you enjoy our events and all of the events that are around the world, actually. We actually have over 50 different chapters. I can't believe it. Here's just a few of them on the screen now. Obviously, we are here in Madrid. We have them in almost every continent. And if you can't find your chapter, if there isn't a chapter in your city, you can apply to be a host. So that's, if you go to events.cmxhub.com, that's where all the events are. And there's also the link there if you're interested in becoming a host and bringing together community professionals in your city. Now, we do have some exciting events happening as part of CMX. Coming up at the end of this month, they are going to be doing a big CMX Global Connect. So what does this mean? On April 28th, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. PST time, it's going to be back-to-back speakers, panel discussions, workshops, networking opportunities to bring together as many people virtually online to learn about community and meet people. This is a completely free event, so I encourage you to really mark this in your calendars now because there's going to be so much great information going to be shared, and a lot of it is going to be really relevant to what's happening right now. So CMX Global Connect, April 28th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. PST. Be there. Now, of course, CMX is known for its summits every single year, and this year is no exception. It's going to be on October 6th and 7th. We hope that it's going to be in person, but at this point, who knows? But the summit will go on, and I went to the summit last year, and that's where I actually met our speaker for today. And I can't tell you how valuable it was to be in a room with so many people that were doing exactly what I was doing. So you can go online, look at the tickets now. It's back-to-back workshop speakers, just like the virtual Connect that's going to happen at the end of the month, but hopefully in person. And yeah, it was just really great experience. It's going to be hopefully in Redwood City. So yeah, CMX Summit 2020, fingers crossed, in person, October 6th and 7th. Now, this event would not be possible without our sponsor for this evening. And our sponsor this evening is womx's Audio Visuals and Events. It's a Spanish company. It's actually the company that myself and my husband own. And that's what's enabled us to have this webinar going this evening. I wish I could show you the setup we currently have in our living room, cameras, cables, all sorts of equipment. If anybody is in need of help with getting their events online or in person as we move forward back to normal, we are able to help you with that. We can speak in both Spanish and English, and we are willing to travel around the world when we can. So let us know. You can send us an email at info@womxn.es if you need any help. Me and Adolfo, my husband, will be more than happy to help you out. Now, I am very excited because we started this particular segment of our Connect last month, where we are spotlighting a member of the community. The reason for this is we just have so many amazing members that are building great communities, and we figured it was a great way to let other people know what they're building. So the lady that we have with us this evening, she is based in Madrid. She has a company called Spain Less Traveled, and she actually has a community that she only recently started at the end of last year and very recently hit 5,000 members. So I'm very excited to introduce to you all this evening Karen Rosenblum, the creator of Travel Spain. So I'm going to bring Karen up now. Karen, are you there? Is Karen there?
Here.
She's there. There she is. Welcome, Karen. Tell us a little bit about Travel Spain.
Hi, first of all, Valentina and Seppi, thank you so much for having me. I love your events always, and it's such an honor to actually be here tonight from office in Madrid, home office. So as Valentina mentioned, I started a community called Travel Spain with an exclamation point. I started it at the very end of October of last year, and in the midst of all this, we've just hit 5,000 members. So I'm really excited about that. It's basically a Spain travel community for people who are interested in seeing Spain on a more authentic level, and a little bit more off the beaten path, a little, as I like to say, less traveled, for people who really want to get to know Spain beyond the main tourist attractions. Part of the reason that I started it was I noticed a void in a lot of the online travel communities where anytime somebody asked a question, the answer would be overwhelmingly Barcelona, Barcelona, Barcelona. And there were times where Barcelona wasn't really the most relevant answer that people, that the original poster was asking for. So I just decided it would be an interesting experiment to start a travel community for my own business and really to bring together a group of Spain travel lovers. Also, I've always been comfortable in Facebook communities, and it just seemed like a natural place to start mine. In terms of what I like to bring my members in my community, obviously any help with Spain travel planning, tips, inspiration, photos, really cool Spain content. Especially now though, I'm hyper focused on what I like to call Spainspiration, which is basically Spain inspiration. None of us can travel right now, clearly, and having a travel company personally and professionally is very scary at the moment, but I do feel in my heart that if I keep showcasing this beautiful country to my community and reminding them that once we're ready to open our doors to the world again, we're going to be so happy to welcome people back. And also to give people ideas to start thinking about a more authentic, a more off the beaten path, really what they want when they come to Spain finally. And then of course, for those of us who live here in Spain, we're all locked down too, but I know that every day I just dream about traveling this beautiful country again, and a lot of my members in all over Spain feel the same way. So that's pretty much it. And Valentina and Seppi have really been instrumental in helping me build this community, as has CMX Connect. So thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Yeah, this community it's just been so incredible to see how quickly that you've grown in such a short space of time. So we're really excited to see that growing. What we'll do is we'll share all the links to Karen's community in the chat. So if anyone is interested in coming to Spain, please make sure you come and join her. She is a wealth of knowledge about Spain, I cannot tell you. So thank you so much, Karen. And I hope you enjoy the Connect here this evening. And we are going to continue on. So tonight's agenda then, we have got three main things coming to you this evening. First of all, we have a fireside chat with Shana Sumers from her social app, which Seppi's going to be moderating. Then we're going to move into a Q&A with Shana, and we're going to do a virtual networking over an Icebreaker video directly after. We'll drop the link to that in the comments after. But without further ado, I'd like to pass it over to Seppi, who is going to tell us more about our speaker and start our fireside chat.
Thank you so much, Valentina. Hello, everybody. I've been looking through the comments here. So great to see people from all over the world tuning in. Just a little bit about myself for those who are new to the CMX Madrid chapter. My name is Seppi, as Valentina said. I usually say Seppi rhymes with Peppy to help people. I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I lived in Austin, Texas for a bit. I see some people from Texas tuning in. So hey y'all, but I've been living in Madrid for about 4.5 years, and I am a community builder, community lover, and in addition to co-hosting CMX Madrid with Valentina, I have two communities of my own. One is called She Hit Refresh, and that is a global community for women aged 30 and over who want to change their life in a big way through travel. And then I also have a community called Madrid Blogger Network, which is a community here in Madrid and also online that connects bloggers and content creators So just oozing community over here. And I'm super excited for tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, because tonight we're going to be talking about online events, which is what this is all about, which is what we're all dealing with now during this lockdown. So we're going to talk about how to maximize the potential of this opportunity, how we can serve our communities in this new world in a new way. And I'm super excited to introduce our special guest coming from San Francisco. She is the head of community at Her Social app, and it's the largest social and dating app for the LGBTQ plus women and queer people around the world. And there are 5 million users worldwide on this app. Did y'all hear that? 5 million users. That is a huge community. So we're going to talk to Shana about how she's been able to pivot and take a lot of her in-person events online, what she's been doing. Super excited to speak to her. And so without further ado, we will get started. All right. And let me know, guys, where else you're tuning in from. I just saw a shout out from Houston. Hello there. And I'm just waiting for Shana's video. I didn't see her on yet. Just checking my views to make sure I got this right. And just to let you guys know also, we're going to be doing the fireside chat for about 30 minutes, but at 8 o'clock Madrid time is when here in Madrid, I'm not sure if you guys know around the world, is when everybody goes to their windows and balconies and claps for the health workers that are working so hard here to help keep people alive. So we're gonna just take a moment to listen in on that. You should be able to hear the clapping coming in at 8. And then after the fireside chat, we're gonna do a bit of Q&A. So stick around for that. Hold your questions till then, or you can ask them now, but if you can ask them in the Q&A, that would be better, and we'll be able to get to them. And that is it. After that, we'll hit our icebreakers, but more information on that later. So I see that Shana is here. Hello, Shana. Welcome, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Seppi. I'm great. It's been a chill morning, so I'm very excited to join CMX Madrid for the first time.
Yes, we are just so excited to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about your situation? I know you're in San Francisco. Can you let the viewers know kind of, what the situation is there? Are you under confinement and what's going on?
Yes, we started confinement fairly early. I believe we had it happen at the beginning of March. And so we are under stay-at-home orders, only going out for essentials and for a quick workout. So there's been a lot of time with my roommates' cats, and a lot of time cooking. And I'm really not a cooker. So that's been a whole new area for me to have to deal with. But otherwise, thankfully, we're all safe. My family is safe. It's great to see the community kind of come together in all of these ways. And as you mentioned before, it has been in work and at Her a huge pivot for us to shift from offline events to now focusing around online events. So that has been a great time consumer.
Well, that's great. That's why we're so excited to have you. We'll get into your events later, but just taking a look at what you've been doing, it's quite impressive. So I think everyone's going to learn so much today. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Because I was fascinated to learn that although you're the head of community and you've been working in community for a while, that you actually were a music therapist. So can you tell us like the journey of how you got from there to here?
Yeah, that journey, each time I look back on it, kind of seems like it's made up. Almost like, whose line is it anyway? The points are made up and the rules don't matter. So I went to school and got my bachelor's in music therapy and my master's in special education. I was a music therapist for 5 years. I worked with adolescents with emotional and behavior disorders, and I worked with kids to adults that had developmental disabilities. And I loved what I was doing, but while I was in school getting my master's, I found Her online, and they had an ambassador program that I reached out to and asked if there was any way that I could help. And so I started off blogging for them. That became a slippery slope to me running their social media, which then became a slippery slope to me starting my first position as content and community manager at Her. So I was overseeing content all over the website, from the blog to inside the app and on our social media pages. And that quickly shifted me into our rebrand launch, which happened in May 2018. And so I took charge of launching a brand new community that started out with 12 spaces. And I did the feedback, the research, built it fully out and started from scratch. And then now, 2 years later, we are thriving, we are growing numbers, we are hosting events, we've launched newsletters and things like that. So it kind of became a right time, right place thing when I got surprised with the job offer to work at Her. I took the chance because when else would I be able to make this career switch, and am not looking back.
Fascinating. Congratulations. Yes. And if you guys want to learn more about the rebranding that Her went through and that Shana led, you can check out her video. It's actually on YouTube because I watched it recently of your speaking gave a talk at the CMX Summit last year on that topic. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. We talked about relaunching your community after a rebrand. And so that was my first talk going there. And it was great meeting Valentina there and all of the other CMXers. So I'm going to +1 on joining any of the CMX events and the people that you can meet. It's very valuable.
Awesome. I love also how you just kind of dabbled in your interests and that led you to a whole new career, which I always encourage people to kind of go with where, you know, where your interests are pulling you, because you never know where that can lead you to. So thank you so much. Can you tell us more then about the Her social app and also the community? Tell us about your community.
Sure. So Her runs primarily as a dating app. So similar to Tinder and Bumble, you go in, you swipe left and right on profiles, you hopefully find a match and you get to chat. On the flip side of the app is kind of a separate section where it is the online community. And in the community, you have a feed where you can see what your friends and matches post, as well as any of the communities you follow. Initially, I mentioned that we had 12 communities. We are now at the point that we are about to have 30 as of next week, which is really exciting. And you can go in there and post photos, links to articles, just general comments to engage with people. And it's a global community where the meet section is more local and matches you with people who are near you. And then we also have an events tab as well that lists each of the events that we're hosting. The community can submit events that are happening in their area. And now that's a space where we post each of our online events and any ones that we're partnering with. So inside that community, I oversee the content that goes out, the Her moderation team, the community guidelines, any of the new tools that we provide for our moderators, and just make sure that everybody's coming there to feel like they can unapologetically be themselves, find LGBTQ+ content, and find more spaces to meet people.
Amazing. And yeah, and I'm sure with a community of over 5 million people, I mean, community is about people connecting with like-minded people, and online communities, people still want to meet in person. So I'd love to hear a bit about kind of pre-corona, what your in-person community looked like. I guess how robust was it? Where was it in the world? And kind of what kind of events were you having?
Yeah, so before Corona hit, we had about 12 community event managers or city event managers that were running parties worldwide. And so those events that were happening are very much on our event side of the app. So we have me running community events and then my coworker Chris running the global events side of it. So we had in-person ones, they mainly centered around parties, and then we were shifting into a more meetup model. So we were hosting happy hours and mini networking times. And then I was in the process of planning just community specific events. So come and watch the women's soccer games or go out and meet at the park for a picnic and things like that, so that it wasn't centered around us making a profit. It was more so like, this is our community building. And so that was what it looked like before. And we were in a lot of a big planning process, but our parties were our main staple. People knew us for our events. We could get anywhere between 200 to 800 people at any one of our events. We always hosted initial games that came in, because when you're working with the LGBTQ+ community, you want to provide a space where they can feel safe and be themselves. We wanted to point out who was there working, give icebreakers for people who are a bit more introverted, show people to the dance floor and the bar if they're more extroverted, and go from there. But we would have those from the US to the UK and Australia, and those were kind of our main areas that we were hosting. We've partnered with big brands in Spain as well, which is super fun, and we had our Spanish launch and our French launch in France just last summer. So that was kind of what that looked like before this all hit, and then we quickly pivoted into online and started hosting events daily.
Okay, that's what I want to talk about. Just to understand though, so with the 12 kind of chapters you had around the world, were those all led by a local chapter leader that was actually, creating the event, managing it, being the host for everybody? Is that how that worked?
Yes, so they would come in, create a theme. So each of our events are themed, and they would come up with any of the performance ideas, any of the DJs. They did the on the ground work, and we were here to provide support for them in their planning, making sure that we gave them the advertising and the support that they needed, as well as the initial profit, so that they would be able to go in feeling confident and not have to take anything out of their own personal budget. And so that was kind of the way that we supported in that area. And when we could, we would travel out and go to parties. I think I'm the person who's gone to the most events, any excuse to travel. So that was what I would do. But yeah, our events were the key force that we very much miss.
Got it. And at the time, how were you having a lot of online events, or was it mostly just offline?
they were all offline.
Got it. Okay, so then you did the pivot.
Yes.
So I'd love to hear, yes. Okay, so when this lockdown happened, kind of when did you start seeing the opportunities, and when did you think, okay, we got to take this online because offline isn't going to happen and we don't know when we can do it again? Can you tell us about kind of your thought process and pivoting?
Sure. So I know that around the second week of March was when each of our city event managers started to kind of feel the pressure of the news and announcements and shutdowns. And so we quickly realized that we needed to make a switch, and that switch needed to happen very quickly. So I believe we had our last party in person on the 14th of March, and that was in Canada. Canada at the time had been the safest area. So we were like, go ahead and do this. We'll pay attention. We made extra precautions to make sure that there was hand sanitizer everywhere. The bar was amazing. It was able to wipe down everything the whole time because it was a gaming party. So you went in and played video games. And after that, within that whole weekend, we made a week's worth of planning to say, you know what, let's deep dive in, let's try it, and let's see what happens. And so we polled our in-house team, and then we went to the community and polled them as well to say, what are events that you want to see? And we initially just started out with kind of happy hours and a couple of events that we knew from people that we've worked with before. So we had a DJ set, and I think we had like an open mic that first week, and we're like, let's just try these things and see what happens and see if people even like them. And from there, it got a lot of the people that I'd seen very active in the Her community online, but not necessarily in person, because those were people who had not had our events in their city. And so that kind of switched us into that space. And from then, I believe we've hosted events every day from the 17th until today. And we've had about 28 online events with over 1,000 attendees. So
Wow.
That's been really cool to see.
Oh my God, 28 online events with over 1,000 attendees. Oh, I hear the clapping. It's like a few minutes before 8. People started early. Does anyone hear that? It's coming in around Madrid. Before I hop into the next question, I'm going to wait a minute for that.
Yes.
And let us know, for those that are watching, are your local cities, are they doing any kind of clapping? Hey, are they doing any kind of clapping in the cities that you are? Yay! I'm gonna see if we can see anything here. You won't get to see people, but maybe you can just see a little bit of Madrid. It might be too sunny. Oh no, it's too sunny to actually see. You can see the sky, but people are clapping.
Hopefully everyone can clap where they are right now for everybody that's helping around the world to fight this.
Yes. Okay.
Can you hear the clapping? We have a microphone outside of our window here. Can you hear it?
I think I hear it out of my window, but I don't think the laptop will pick it up. If you guys can hear, but I love, okay, people say, yes, we can hear it. Beth says she can hear it. I love it. Seattle claps at 7 at night. Buenos Aires at 9 p.m. I love it. It is such a beautiful way to feel connected, especially, you know, for those of us that are on lockdown. We can't leave our houses. We don't really see people or feel, you know, physically connected. So to hear those claps, it just reminds you that you are not alone. So beautiful.
The guy that's, I don't know if you can hear this, everyone, but there's a guy that's living like opposite us. He plays a song every single night. It's what is it?
Resistiré.
I can't even say it, which is We Resist, which is the Spanish version of I Will Survive. Every single night. We've been doing this for what, 25 days now. So yeah, it's been a really great time to just to meet our neighbors. Like, I can't believe I didn't even know who those people are, and I hope that after this we can actually say hello to each other closer rather than from our windows.
Yeah, I see someone says someone is blasting Coldplay, Viva la Vida, as we apply. Love it. That's great.
Que vi La España after this as well. He puts on a whole playlist. It's great.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to come back in. I know people are still clapping, but we will continue with the event here. But that was nice. Thanks, everyone, for taking a moment with us just to take a moment to listen in on the clapping. Okay, so we were talking about, yes, so March 17th, you guys hit the ground running with all these online events. And then I've seen you've been doing events every day since then. And not only like one event, multiple events a day, which is crazy. You had mentioned some of the events, but I'd love to hear a bit more about them. You had mentioned happy hour, dance party, but I've seen other things like open mic, movie night, cooking class. Like, this is so creative. Lip sync battle, cocktail making class. Guys, you're taking notes. These are all kinds of things you can implement into your community. Self-care, yoga, meditation, speed dating, Loving this. Let us know. I want to know, like, where did you get all these ideas from? And like, how did you know what to do?
Yeah, so a lot of the ideas that we initially had, especially when we were getting ready to pivot into some in-person community events, a lot of these were ideas that I just took and flipped it to online. We wanted to host a panel where we had a sex therapist coming in and answering questions from people. We wanted to host an in-person cooking night. I was like, we have a recipes and foodies community. Why not host a cooking night or a cocktail making night? We have a 40 and over community that really wants to learn and see new skills and new trainings. We've had finance, we've had lip sync, yeah, as you mentioned, open mics, all of the things. And a lot of that came initially from internal with our city event managers, where we were like, hey, what events do you want to see? What events have you had in the back of your mind that you've wanted to host and meet up with people? Started from there with our first week and took that. And then I did a bunch of community outreach inside the online space and asked our community, like, hey, what are some events that you want to do? And then we asked for feedback for people who came to those first events and said, you got really excited about these happy hours. What do you want to see next? What do you want to try with us? And now we have people, I think we have at least 5 people who have come to every single event, like have not missed it, have seen their face every time. And I'm just like, this is amazing. But yeah, we've collected updates the whole time. Anytime we post on social media, people will DM us as well and say, oh, I would love to see this and love to see that. But that also helps us continue, like the dance parties. That means we have a continuing line of DJs that we can work with, because they're reaching out and saying, hey, this is amazing. Do you need any DJs for your future events? And that just allows us to keep rolling. And if those people come in with ideas or say, hey, I'm an artist, I would love to do a live paint night, we're like, great, please email this person and we will get you on the schedule and make it happen. So been a lot of community feedback and reach out, which is my favorite type of way to get things done.
Amazing. Yes. I mean, people are craving connection. So for you to be able to just provide that outlet for them to connect is incredible. And I love what you just mentioned there. You know, when I asked, like, how did you know what to do? Not only were you taking your own ideas, but you were probing your community to see what do they want, because we're here to serve our community. So that is kind of the number one way to understand, you know, maybe what can work, what people want to see, is to ask them directly, like, what do you guys want? Want to know, what kind of platforms are you using for your virtual events?
Currently, we are mainly using Zoom. And so we have learned and figured out all of the tools for there. We just recently, for some of the music events, have switched over to Twitch. That has a bit better audio and engagement to work with people who are singing or lip syncing or open mic, just to make sure that the volume's there, because sometimes when people come in, you know, to optimize the sound and to do all those things, to explain that virtually does not always come across. And as much as we try to prepare them ahead of time, some people just, you know, this is a whole new space for them and they're only used to FaceTime or Instagram Live, and now we're taking them onto another platform. So Zoom is definitely number one, and then Twitch is secondary.
Great. Oh, is anyone out there using Twitch? Let us know in the comments. I have not used it myself first, so I'd love to get a feel for if anyone out there is using it. Can you let us know some of, I guess, the cool features, the features that you or have noticed your community enjoys using on Zoom?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just enjoy the fact that they can come on, and we use a lot of the panel view and make it so that people know where they can see just everyone, and then they go through and see pages of people that they can message. Everybody loves the live chat feature, especially when we're doing watch parties and movie nights. The chat pops off. It's so funny to see people's reactions, and just to be watching a queer movie and having a bunch of queer people react the way that you would, when a lot of times we do end up having a lot more straight friends, and if they would watch it, their responses would be different. And I think, you know, just keeping it just that simple, to go in and just deal with chat and actually being able to see a bunch of people with you so that you feel that sense of community, has probably been the best feature that we can use. And as well, on our end, I think the moderation tools are the best, because we are always putting people on and off of the mic so that they can talk, or we have had some trolls come in and try to mess with the vibe of our event, and so we have to quickly be able to act. And so we've gotten very fast fingers now to be able to go and find those people. So that's kind of what we've been using on the back end side.
God, yeah, I was going to ask, have you encountered any Zoom bombing, which I've heard about? I haven't experienced myself, so.
Yeah, we haven't had a real bad Zoom bombing. I've heard of some people with porn in the back and things like that. I'm just, nope. We have people come in and send kind of ridiculous messages, especially during our more sensitive topics like the sex therapist activities and things. So we are just hyper aware, and we make sure that more of our team is on so that they can help with moderating and making sure that people are feeling safe and comfortable. But also people who use our dating app are very aware of romance scammers and trolls and things like that. And thankfully our community kind of pays them no mind at this point.
Got it. And how many people have you been having at these events, more or less?
Yeah, I think the smallest number that we have is around 20. And then our biggest party has been, I think, around 120 or 130.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And when you have 100 plus, or do you have all the tiles there? Can people just scroll through the tiles? Is everyone have
Yes.
one? How
Yes.
cool.
Absolutely. You can't drive community on a webinar mode. You need to have everybody up in there and kind of just to see that there are people with you. So it's really fun to see, and then to scroll through the pages like during our dance parties or our open mics, and to see people just kind of dancing or giving support. Some people will have, you know, their dogs or their kids in the background dancing and stuff. So it's really cool to see. We have had a couple people do outfit changes during the show and make sure that like we know so we can feature them and things like that. So it's really cool to see how they want to drive engagement, but also how they participate.
Love it. And what are some of the events that you have found to be most successful?
Yeah, I always repeat the sex therapy one. That one is probably the best. Any of the ones that kind of build around relationships have been great, and our performance ones have been great. So our open mic and our lip sync, we just had a 90s lip sync battle, which was so fun, and people showed up in full costume. We had somebody do the whole Michael Jackson dance during it, and we didn't know what to do. They came on and we were just like, this is out of control in the best way. We've had some like sexting tips, and we had a partner that works with an app that works on dating and relationship tips, but also takes you through what it's like to text your partner, which is a big thing right now. And we've also had another talk around shifting to FaceTime dating and video chats and what that should look like and how to set it up and things like that. So any tools that, you know, we are so stapled in being a dating app that people want to come and be better daters, even in this online age where you've had to shift from meeting in person to now meeting online. So that's kind of where our most successful events have been.
I love it, because you're giving your community what they want. It's a dating app. People cannot meet in person, so you have to give them what they can use online then. So that's great. What are your top 3 tips for anyone using Zoom? Because some of our community managers haven't used Zoom yet. Maybe they have attended an event like this one, but they are maybe a little bit afraid to host their own. What kind of tips can you give them?
Yeah, so first, practice in-house. Get some of your team, even if they're not active on there and just have to pull up a video, practice fully in-house. We fully had to go through and just say, oh, what if this person does this? Or if I do this, did anything happen to your screen? It just makes you feel a lot better about the process. If you're going to use any sort of sound from your screen, if you just play it generally, it's not going to play well. It's not going to come across well. You want to do the settings where it optimizes onto your screen. That was one of the new things that I had to learn. And make sure that you have at least 2 people on with you. So if you're the main host, have somebody else doing the clicking work and engaging in the chat and doing that. Don't try and run all of it yourself, especially if you're going to do it the way that we did, where we have all of the panelists and people can hop in and out and put videos on and talk and interrupt. You want to have somebody there that's kind of allowing you to be able to sit and host while you can go and handle, and then the other person can handle something else.
Those are great tips. You guys writing those down? Write those down. If you haven't used Zoom yet, do not be afraid. It's such a fun way to get your community together. So given that, because like I mentioned, you don't only have one event a day. Some days you have 2, 3, I was seeing events, multiple events. I mean, you have a large community, 5 million people, so it makes sense to have multiple events. But how do you stay organized and manage multiple events? Sometimes it's hard just to keep track of your one weekly event.
Yeah, it definitely is. We have a really great system in place, and a lot of it starts with just daily check-ins. So we do like 30 minutes, make sure we're good to go, check to see that everything is set. We use an Asana board to organize each of our events. So we have it broken down of what's planned, what's scheduled, what are we in talks with. We put everything on those individual cards and ship them over once they are complete. And then we also have separate Google calendars so that we can be organized in that and actually have a visual of what is going out, what is happening, and to make sure that we don't create that calendar event until it is up either on Facebook, Eventbrite, and inside of the app. So we know that it is fully complete when it goes onto that calendar. And that calendar is connected to all of our team in-house as well as our city event managers, so they can all see what's happening. They can join. If they're interested in hosting, they can do that as well. So that's kind of where our organization lies.
Very organized. Yes, I love Asana. If you guys watching, if you use Asana, let us know, and let us know what other tools you use to keep your community organized. So what about, I know some people had asked, you know, for especially for people who do mostly offline events, so in-person events, how do they get buy-in from their audience to join online when that hasn't been the traditional way where they have connected? What are some tips for people?
Yeah, so if you're able to still have contact, well, I would assume you would still have contact with your either local chapters, or for us, it was our city event managers. We utilize them a bunch. All of the information that we already send out goes through them because there are leaders, there are people on the ground. And so we utilize them for the initial launch to get these offline people online to join us. We also utilize the community as well. We kind of expanded where our normal push notifications go. We tend to send it to the people who have been active or have looked at the community X amount of times. And so I expanded it to more people to drive them directly to our events tab inside the community so that they could see like, hey, we are going and doing this. And then we also quickly started a separate newsletter. So I added on to the 2 newsletters that we already send out. We send one for our premium users, so any of our paid users, and one for our non-premium users. I added a separate one that was just events. So I would feature 6 to 8 events that were happening that week that we really wanted to drive traffic to, and then drive them directly to the page where we're hosting all of these events so that they knew that we were doing this. And we've kept that going on a weekly basis. We put it out every Monday so that people know what's happening the rest of the week, and we get it out early enough so that people can still make the Monday evening event.
Got it. Yeah, I see that you keep your community well informed. When I was looking at her social profiles on LinkedIn, I saw an actual calendar, so it makes it really clear for people to understand what's happening, what's going on. Because I also feel, because so many people have taken their events virtual, it is hard now. Like, my virtual calendar is so packed, I can't keep up with what is when. So any kind of reminders of when an event is helps me attend the event. So I think that's keeping
a lot of times that's how I felt on Saturday. I felt like I was that person that was trying to drive around and make it to every party, but really I was just hopping in and out of Zooms. It was like birthday Zoom, work Zoom, this Zoom, and I was just like, this is life now, just taking online and a lot faster transitions.
This is life. Well, since you have so many online events now, because you said before you were doing in-person events, you didn't have so many online events. Now it's all online, and it's a lot of them. Have you noticed any impact that the online events have had on your overall community?
Yes, especially after specific events that lean into the community. So say we had one specifically for the 40 and over community, or say we did have that cooking class for the recipes and foodies community. People can join regardless of if they're in that community inside of the app, but then we drive them to those communities that are based on the topics after the fact. And that each time we do that, it's like, okay, as soon as that's done, we see a spike. And we're like, great, more people are coming in here posting, more people are joining, more people are engaging. We also have more people just engaging in our follow-up posts that we do. So we were trying to test other ways where we could get people into her community to then talk afterwards. So in our main community, if it didn't fit into one of our other 28 communities, we would post it in the main community where we kind of put all of our content, and would drive people directly there to say, hey, if you want to keep connecting afterwards, or you weren't able to share her profile, please go there. We've seen a big increase in brand loyalty. Our first happy hours were with our CEO, and our CEO is on almost every one of these events, and she just sits and enjoys it and has a great time, but people can then see that she's a person. And whenever we get on, we put our titles on there to say, hey, more of the Her team is here. You've probably seen their faces and photos, but cool, ask us a question if you need to. And there's been a big increase in the awareness of our community. Based off of the tools that we have, we're a very small team. There's only 8 of us that are full-time. And so sometimes the tools that I would like to have driven to the community are not available. And we're launching other features, that we have sponsors, and my community stuff gets put in the back. And so this has been a really great excuse to kind of ramp up me driving traffic to the community, because now they're seeing these events and we want more attendees. So it's also really cool for people to go on and just be talking to us and then say, oh, I wasn't aware of that side of the app, I'm going to go check it out now. And we see those spikes in opens and joins. And there was a wonderful spike that I saw in our chart of just people who are joining, and it just went straight like this. And I was so excited. So that's kind of the big areas that we've seen.
That's so cool. So then how has this kind of crash course in online events, how do you think it'll have an impact on your community strategy moving forward once we go back to normal and actually are able to meet in person again?
Yeah, we're slowly starting to think of what that can look like. Thankfully, we have gotten feedback that community members still want to see these events. I think there'll be a lot more community focus, and that has already switched up my strategy from just focusing on in-person meetups to now online. I think we won't do it as daily because people will be back to life and doing these things, but I think we'll figure out a consistent calendar of events that they can look forward to and cycle through and still connect with. We Since we do only throw in-person events in 12 cities right now, this could be that missing link where people are always like, come to this city, come to this city, come to this city. And we're like, we know we want to, we're gonna come there as soon as we can. But some places just don't make sense for us to go. And so with that, I think this could be a great connecting piece for those people that we're not going to in the near future because the city's either too small or we're not very active there at the moment. Or we just haven't found someone to run an event, and this could be that connecting piece for those people.
Great, great. All right, I'm gonna just ask Shana 2 more questions, but just to prep you guys for the Q&A that's gonna come after. If you have any questions, please let us know. Please ask them in the Q&A tab that you'll see at the bottom of your screen, of your Zoom screen. You can just click on that and ask your question there, and we'll get to in the Q&A. Great. So Shana, what advice do you have for community managers who are new to online events? What 3 things would you tell them?
The first thing I would say is to document everything from start to finish. Document all of it. Document your planning, document your scheduling, document the ideas that you have. Pay close attention to the engagement levels of the attendees. So things that you kind of want to look at are how active is the live chat? How many people are staying for the entire event? This is also great to have to go back and say, have 2 people, because that person can keep track for it. How many videos are on? So if you're going to have it where you're going to keep all of the videos up, how many people are on? And that kind of gauges your trust and comfort level, as well as how many people are returning to your events. So those would be some of the things that you'd want to track. And then the next thing would be immediately establish your follow-up plan. Where you want to drive them, what information do you want to get from them, and how do you want to do that moving forward? That was the thing that we kind of got delayed on when we started, and we were just like, oh yeah, this is great, we did it, phew, amazing. And then I stopped and I was over on the side like, are we sending a follow-up email? And we were like, oh, that was a step that we missed. That is there. But now that we've done it for a few weeks, people have created those checklists. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Utilize the resources that are there. I know CMX just put out one that David Spink spoke about, and utilize those resources. So many people are throwing them now. So that would probably be my like 4th sub thing is don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. Just take in those skills, document, and answer those specific questions.
Very helpful. Yes, I especially love the follow-up because you have your community's attention. So utilize it. Like you said, know where you want to drive them and take them there. Okay, last question. For those people who, have in-person events, have never done an online one, or thinking, you know what, I'm just going to wait till this blows over to do another in-person event and I'm not going to do online. Do you think it's important to keep up the momentum online, to really shift your events online right now when people can't be together? Do you think that's important? Why or why not?
I 100% think it's important, especially if you were you were a company that leaned heavily on your offline community. Those were the people that felt connected because they were able to see you face to face. They were able to come and physically engage. They were able to learn, gain knowledge, meet new people. Amazing. You can take that same feeling and bring it online, but to a bigger audience. So while you can have a CMX Madrid focused group, and most of the people that come here could be that, you're having worldwide people that are here in the US and other parts of the UK that are now able to connect from this area. So you're kind of hitting a new spot that you would not have been able to reach out to before. And I think that is a very valuable space that we can engage with, and just being able to reach that connection. That's the whole reason why the internet was basically created, was so that we could connect in more ways. And if people want to wait, it's kind of like, you're just in limbo. You're not doing anything of benefit for your company. You're not doing anything of benefit for the people that are there. They're going to lose interest because they're not seeing the regular spaces that you would normally engage in person. And so keeping this keeps their attention and keeps them loyal to your brand and keeps them wanting to be active, and potentially opens up a new space for you to continue with that brand loyalty, that engagement, that community building.
Love it. Thank you so much. All right, let's hop into the Q&A. I see a few questions in the Q&A box. I did see a few come into the chat, so I'm going to go in there and try to find those. First one is Melanie. Melanie says, okay, she says she may have just missed this, but how did you list build for the events? Did you just, for the news, only a newsletter? Did you just send it to everyone on your normal list, or did you ask people if they wanted to opt in?
Yeah, so hers on an app. And so most of the stuff that we did do to send was just through the list that we already have for our notifications within the app. And so we could send a global push, and as long as we have permission to send you a push notification, that was who it was sent to. Same with our community engagement and the newsletter. We also kept it to anybody who was a part of the subscription list, because those were active people who have given us permission to our emails. So that was kind of a little bit of a cheating way, because we already had the audience to leverage and go through that. And then as we were talking with them, we were like, oh, if you didn't see the email, you didn't do the prompt, here are the ways that you can receive it. And so we've actually seen our email list grow because of that, because in app, if you add your email, then you're automatically added to our newsletter unless you decide to opt out of it. And so we were like, oh, if you're not receiving this, then please make sure you add your email to her profile so that we can continue to send it to you. So thankfully, our list was already in there, but I would also make sure to put that in the feedback, that, you know, they can leave your email and list that out. I think that's the easiest way, and utilize your list build from each of the events. So whenever we have those people that come in and join, like on Eventbrite, or if we have it through Facebook or through our app, we're able to keep track of those people and then be able to send information afterwards. So that was also how we continue to list build, and we utilize the events emails that we had before and send it out to those people who have already engaged with us in person.
Fabulous. Thank you for your question, Melanie. Next question is from, is it Katasi? I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but she asked, this is in regards to your movie event. She says, how do you stream the movies, and do you need a license?
Yeah, so we typically do kind of a screen share on Zoom. So again, that was mentioning going through and sharing off of your screen, doing the optimization, and making sure that the sound comes through in that way. Highly suggest that you test this out with whoever you are doing this with, so that you know that the sound sounds good, because on your end, it's going to sound good. But for somebody else on the other side, it may not. We did not have a license, but we also made sure that we did not charge. So we knew that it was like open, just watch party, come and hang out with people and do this. And we did not try to have any sponsors or partnerships or anything like that. It was just come and watch. And that was like as simple as it was. We were like, keep it a community meetup. Don't have any other backups and things like that. And that's how you can avoid the licensing. But if you decide to partner with the film and your business kind of works with that, I would totally make it an idea that goes there. We actually partnered this Thursday, I believe. Days are made up at this point. The woman who directed, created, and was the lead actress in Lesbom, which was a coming out story around the holidays, she has given us full permission to use the movie, and then we have her on afterwards to do an AMA after the film. And so she's going to sit and watch the movie with us. People can't, like, they'll be able to see her up top, but they'll see the main screen, and she's going to sit and answer questions, and then afterwards we're going to sit and do a full video chat with her.
Love it. I think right now is just a great opportunity to connect, network, and to really leverage other people for your community. People want to still stay visible. So reach out to some of those dream people that maybe your community wants to hear from. You never know. They might, you know, come on board and talk to your community. So that's great. I love the next question from Anna. Anna says, Shana, what KPIs do you use at HER to measure the online event success?
Yeah, this is a thing I should know way better, because I don't have to really follow that side. But the number one things were the ones that I mentioned before, was the engagement that we have within the event, as well as the attendee number. And so to review those questions again, that our team I know actively looks at, our global events manager set that up, and I should have looked at it ahead of time. So great question. I can probably follow up with you on that on LinkedIn. But I know the main things are the engagement levels. So how active is the live chat? how many people are staying for the entire event, how many videos are on, and how many people are returning to our events. I think that's the biggest. And then on my end, I'm looking at the spikes in the specific communities. So if we were, again, doing a sports focused thing or a strong and single focused thing, which are two names of our communities, then I would go in afterwards and see if there's a spike in engagement. So I would focus on the amount that people opened that community and if any posts increased in that community as well. So those would be the two spikes. Unfortunately, my data does not go any deeper than that because we're still building out our dashboard there, but those are kind of where I'm seeing the reaction of, are people now going from the event and engaging in our community?
Perfect. All right. Next question is from Nicole. She says, do you have any of your events archived somewhere on the web that the public can look at for inspiration and ideas?
That's a great question. We have most of them listed on Facebook. And so if you can go back and see like the old events that we've hosted on Facebook, those are all there. And the same with Insider, no, in the app they disappear. So I would say the best place is Facebook, and they have it where, you know, you have the events that you've hosted and you go back and see the events that were listed. But I'm also, if you want to get in touch with me afterwards, I'm more than happy to send that out. But I do agree with Jake and I love the archive idea and think that would be a great thing to share later.
Yeah, that's how, when I was doing research for our fireside chat, I went to Facebook and saw all of your previous events and all the future ones and was just in awe of how many you guys are running. So I got lots of ideas on there for my own communities. I love this question. So this is from our own Valentina. We've been wondering, for Zoom, do you do registrations beforehand or do you just give a direct access link?
Yeah, so when we first started, we just did a direct access link and it did not become an issue until we started hosting those more topic sensitive ones. So our sex therapy one, our sexting ones, our dating ones, that was when we started to get a bit more trolly and a bit more of people coming in and just acting a fool. So for those events, we have made it where it's active registration. The only way you can get in is through having your email and it accepting it there. Zoom does have that option. And then for some of our more general ones where, you know, you want more people to join, so like our performances, open mics, our cooking opportunities, things like that, we want to have more people come in and join, and so we leave some of those open. So more of our fun, relaxed ones, definitely leave it open. More of the ones where we have an actual person coming in and speaking, we make that a bit more strict.
Great. All right, Paolo has a question. He says, what channels do you use to promote your events apart from the app and Facebook?
We also use Eventbrite. We use our email newsletter, and that's kind of it. And on Instagram, we also post in our stories. So each week we'll do a whole, like, this is what's coming this week, and do a fun post there that drives into the app. So those are our number one ways that we advertise. We lean a lot on social media and the app.
Got it. Great. Okay, Umar has a question. He's asking, so how do you manage multiple events? Like he's saying, for instance, he has 3 events in the same week. So how can he advertise those events? Because he's doing, you know, startup grind, CMX, and different things. And he's having many issues. Umar, I'm not sure what kind of issues, but I guess I'll kind of fill in the gaps from what I think it is. You know, I know for myself, managing multiple communities, sometimes when you're sharing so many events, they just kind of get lost because there's so much information coming. How do you guys manage advertising multiple events, you know, a week?
Yeah, so we kind of got into the transition of tiering our events. And so while we still want everyone to attend, there are some that we know that we do not need to advertise for because there's already an interest and already a strong group that's going to be joining. And so we kind of focus on the ones that are either getting low engagement or the ones that we are bringing in somebody that we really want to feature. So we bring in, you know, the therapist, and she is actively doing this with us and for us. So we want to advertise her in the space. So we're going to make sure that you're a feature. So as mentioned before in our email, I'll pick the top 6 to 8 events. Mind you, we're hosting events every day, and sometimes we're hosting up to 3 to 4 events per day. So we have to pick which ones we want. And I'll do half of, okay, these are getting lower engagement, we just need to get more eyes on this. And then we'll do half of, these are the people that we're featuring, we're bringing them in, they're doing this with us, and that's how we advertise it. At times, if it is community focused, focus. So say we were doing a sports event and a recipes event and then a 40 and over event, I would drive those events to that audience and not so much focus on everyone else. And then I'd put the more general events out to everybody else and kind of tier that in our notification system. And those are kind of the biggest ways that we've been doing that. And then also just our city event managers, if there's ones that they're like, this is the one that you want to be at and this is the one you want to go to, they'll drive the attention to that one because it's a local DJ from Seattle and our Seattle city event manager wants to promote them. So they're going to do that. Or the therapist is from New York. So our New York city event manager is going to drive people from New York into that area, and it gives kind of a boost.
Great, thank you. Okay, I got 2 more questions here, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Valentina, who's gonna give us information on Icebreaker. So Katasi has another question. She says, why did you move on to Zoom and away from Instagram?
Oh, we never even started on Instagram. We wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to fully engage with people. And so on Instagram, it kind of has that webinar effect. You can go and sit and talk and people can comment and say whatever they want, and people in the queer community can say ridiculous things just like anybody else. But we wanted to be able to kind of have an accountability by being on Zoom and having more faces there and seeing that, hey, these are real people, which means we'd hopefully have a higher quality of engagement, where on Instagram Live and on webinar, you could just go in and say whatever you want. And we really wanted to make it a conversation full of positive engagement and people showing support. And if they weren't, we wanted to be able to remove them. On Instagram, you don't have that control of if somebody comes on the live and just starts trolling, they're going to stay there. So we wanted to be able to have that control and do those things. And it was a no-brainer for us to start with Zoom to be able to do that.
Great. Okay, last question. This is from Natalia. She says, with all the options for things to do online now, right? All these events happening, how do you get people's attention to attend your events, her events? For example, what's the extra value of a cooking lesson that you offer, comparing it to, you know, the videos that people can find on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere else on the internet?
Well, they're not gay. That's kind of our pull point. All of our events are queer centered, and everything that we do is around queer experiences, dating, and more connecting for the LGBTQ plus community. And that's kind of our focal point. And I would suggest that you lean in hard on whatever your focal point is. Everything that we do is across the rainbow spectrum, and it's amazing to be able to do that. So when we are doing this cooking class, it's like the one that we're doing this week is like cooking in kink, and it's with a trans man. Like, that's amazing. And then our cocktail class is with a queer business owner who owns Bolly Ballerson in London, but she is an openly out woman, and this is what she sees at her bar and wants to do that. And so the sex therapist is specifically a queer sex therapist. It's not just a general sex therapist, and they are able to answer these questions from people who are trans to people who are non-binary to anybody who is just talking about same-sex relationships. And so that is the way that we're able to pull our people in and keep them focused on our events, because there are plenty of other DJs that are performing every day, but we're highlighting LGBTQ plus DJs that have that identity. And so that's where our focal point raises. And if you're doing that, find your focal point and drive in on it. And that's why people want to come to you over everybody else.
Love it. Okay, I said I had 2, but I'm just going to do one quick question because I really like this one. I would like to know the answer. This is our last question, guys. So Lindsay asked, for events like cocktail making, painting, etc., how do you ensure everyone has the materials they need at home?
Yeah, so when we create the event, we have the people who are cooking or making the cocktail events, etc., give us the full recipe of what they're going to make ahead of time and send that out to us. And so we post that in every space that we can for the event. And we'll say, hey, if you want to follow along, here's the recipe. Or if you want to do it after and just watch, see what happens, and then do it after. So even on our current events, we don't have a ton of people doing it live. They just kind of love watching people make drinks. I don't know, it's like one of those oddly satisfying things, like opening a box. So they sit and enjoy it, but it's a new thing that they now know, like, oh, that actually looks delicious, I'm gonna go and purchase it. We're hoping that in the near future, we're able to partner with some food delivery places or like Instacart or something like that, so that we can encourage people more to get those materials ahead of time. And we do also, especially for now, leave the note of, if you don't feel comfortable going out to get these materials, we're going to leave this list up for you to be able to do it later, but please still come and join and bring your own drink. Does not have to be alcoholic and things like that to come join, but we always provide the full list of what we're going to be creating. And sometimes they'll throw in a fancy drink afterwards and say, oh, okay, well, if you have these ingredients already, here's what you can potentially make afterward. So that's kind of where we do it.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Shana. This was amazing. I learned so much. For everybody watching, let us know in the chat. Did you enjoy this? Did you get some takeaways? Let us know. For anyone who wants to connect with her or connect with you, where can they find and follow you and her?
Yeah, so if you'd like to follow her, we are at Her Social App, HER Social App, on every platform. So Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of it. And I am at Shana Has a Twitter. On Twitter, I'm at Shana Has a Gram. On Instagram, and if you look me up on LinkedIn, I know somebody posted a link earlier, but if you spell my name exactly how it was spelled on this event, I am the only Shana you're going to find on any of these platforms. So Shana Sumers, Sumers with one M. And you shoot me a DM, let me know that you followed me. I love talking to people.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Shana, for your time, for coming here and joining CMX Connect Madrid and sharing all of your knowledge and experience with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I was so excited. Valentina, thank you for reaching out.
No, you're welcome. I'm so glad that we were able to connect at the summit, and with everything going on, I was like, what can we do for people to make this Connect relevant? And I was like, and I saw, like, I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I saw what you was doing and the different events that you were putting together, and I was like, Seppi, you need to see this. And she was like, what? Literally like that. What? And yeah, so we're so glad. Thank you for taking the time. And Seppi, thank you also for moderating today. Seppi loves moderating, whereas I like to be behind the scenes. So thank you to the both of you. And thank you to everyone for your questions. There was so much valuable information. We are recording this webinar, so there will be a chance for you to watch this back and, you know, take notes and really take those actionable strategies and put them into your communities as you go forward. We are actually moving on, and we have already started planning our next event. Coming up next month is a very exciting Connect. We are celebrating 1 year of CMX Connect Madrid, and as much as we would hope that we are going to be in person, we're not sure what's going to happen. So we're just going to plan to be online. We're going to have a virtual party to celebrate. And for those of you that came to join us at our Christmas Connect, we had a big raffle of over, I think, 22 different prizes shared by people in the community. We are going to be doing that raffle again. So if you do want to win a prize, you do need to come and join us. And if you do want to actually provide a prize for the community, please get in touch with me and Seppi. We'd be more than happy to have you involved. Now, Seppi, there's one thing that we forgot to do at the beginning of this. We actually forgot to introduce ourselves. We got so excited with what was happening that we didn't actually introduce ourselves. So seeing as our names are up on the screen right now, I figured it would be the perfect time. So hello, everybody. My name's Valentina. I'm one of the hosts here. I have two communities with lots of sub-communities. I created Eat Out Madrid, and now we have 6 different chapters within Spain. And then I also have Eat in Madrid. So you can safely say that I like food. And yeah, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about getting people together over food. Seppi, what do you do?
Hello. Can you guys see me? Melanie said my video went all black. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier briefly, so my name is Seppi. I'm also here in Madrid. I run 2 online communities, one called She Here Refresh, which is for women age 30 and over who want to change their life in a big way through travel, so moving abroad or quitting their job and taking a long-term sabbatical. And also I run Madrid Blogger Network, which is for bloggers and creatives here in Madrid. So that's what I do. And then co-host here, CMX Madrid with Valentina.
So as you can see, we're quite invested in community, and we will continue to be. So we hope you can come and join us next month. We're going to publish the event just after this. And as a lot of you will know, I'm very active on social media, so expect lots of DMs, lots of posts. If you don't get a post or a message from me, message me instead. but we're very excited for that. So we're going to be planning that. Now, before everyone moves over to Icebreaker, we want you to be more social with us and CMX as well. So we do have a Facebook group for Madrid. It's called CMX Connect Madrid, Madrid Community Builders. So if you're not already part of that, please join us. There's also a big public group for CMX. It's called CMX Hub, with over 10,000 people from all around the world who are building communities. It's a great resource to ask questions and network with people. And obviously now with online events being so big, you can join so many events and learn so much from other people around the world. If you're into Slack, there is also a community for community managers by CMX on Slack, community managers, cmx.slack.com. And if you're on Instagram, we have a global CMX Connect account where we share all of our pictures from our events. Now we don't have any pictures, but next month we will be taking a big group picture virtually. So I hope you can join us. And also CMX Hub also have an Instagram as well. Now, one other place I really want to highlight is cmxhub.com. I can't believe how many times I'm saying CMX right now. I feel like it's a drinking game. cmxhub.com, it has lots of resources. It has blogs. It has CMX and Chill, which is a lot of the videos from last year's summit. I even think Shana's video is on there too, which I want to tell you a little bit of inside information about that. Shana actually spoke at the summit last year, and it was the very first time her speaking on stage. If you watch this video, you'll be like, what? This cannot be true. But it is, and she really knocked it out of the park. But it was really cool, and there's so many other videos on there. So if this isn't a perfect time to sit on the sofa or in bed and binge on CMX videos, then when is there a better time? So please make sure you look at all those resources and be more social with us. Now, there's just one more thing left to say, and that is one big thank you to everybody who came to join us tonight. Thank you, Seppi. Thank you, Shana. Thank you, Karen, for joining us. We will be heading over to Icebreaker, so I am now going to share the link again inside Icebreaker. That would not be right. Inside this Zoom. Here it is. Join us over there. This is a really great platform which enabled us to virtually network. You will need your video for this, so we'll give you a few minutes if you need to get changed or put on your face or whatever. And it's going to randomly pair you up with people, and we have some fun questions prepared based on the topic, and then some just fun questions in general, so you can meet with people, connect, and really just learn more and meet new people. So we hope you can join us over for that. Seppi, do you have anything else?
That is it. Just want to thank everyone again for joining us from around the world. This is great. This is the fun part of the virtual events. Although we can't meet in person, virtually we get to have attendees from all over the world. Great to see you guys. I hope to see you at Icebreaker. I'm going to hop on over there, so I'll see you there. And Shana, thanks again. Thank you.
One other thing, I just want to mention somebody very special. We do have a third member to CMX Connect Madrid. Her name is Nicoletta. She's been trying to get onto this Zoom call the whole entire time and hasn't been able to. So I just want to say a big shout out to her. She's the person that normally checks everybody in at our events. She isn't able to be here right now, but we want to say thank you to her. And obviously we're recording this, so she'll be able to catch up on it. But yeah, hello to Nicoletta, and sorry that you couldn't join us. All right, we will see you over at Icebreaker, everyone. Click the link in the chat and we will see you there. Goodbye. See you next month. Bye.